Hello, my name is Jason Correa, and here is my final speech for Com 1 at Chabot College. Today, I'd like to give you a lesson on how to make a paper airplane. I am a professional paper airplane maker and made many airplanes throughout my life. You're going to have to look at a couple key facts about making paper airplane. First of all, the paper, how we fold the paper, and also balance. A paper airplane needs good balance to have good aerodynamics. And finally, how to throw a paper airplane. And why might it be important to have skills such as making a paper airplane? Let's take a look at the paper we'll be using today. So today I just have a standard piece of printer paper, nice and firm, and makes a good use for a paper airplane. The first thing we want to do is find the center of our paper. And the easiest way to do that is to fold the paper over on itself. As such, I like to line my corners up very nice and tight, and take my fingers and just slide them so that I have a perfectly divided piece of paper. The next step you want to look at is to follow that line down your paper and fold in the ears to make a nice point. Make sure they look nice and even. And you could stop and fold your wings over there, but it's not a very attractive airplane. So what I like to do is fold in one more wing right to the point. Then now you should have an end product that looks something like this. You can fold that over onto itself, make a nice sharp triangle. Now what you want to do is maybe come up about an inch from the bottom of the paper and fold out your wings. So as I'm folding my wings out, I'm trying to keep them balanced to the other side of the paper so that you have a nice, even paper airplane. Now, if you've never made a paper airplane and this is your first try, let me give you some tips on maybe giving it a little bit more style and safety. So the first thing I always like to do is to give the airplane a little tail wing. And I'll just come back about an inch and rip that little piece of paper right there and pull that through to give your airplane a nice cool tail. Gives it some style there. Another thing you might want to consider is taking that sharp tip off, because that tip could put somebody's eye out. So one way to manage the safety of your airplane, especially if you plan to throw this around people, is just to measure back about an inch on the tip of your airplane and fold it back on itself, just like that. And that gives your airplane a nice blunt tip, so it will not hurt anybody. Now that you have a beautiful paper airplane, you might ask yourself, how do I throw this thing so that it'll fly good? And really, it's all in the wrist of how you hold your airplane. You want to just give it a nice little zoom off your finger. We'll play with that in a little bit. Another important thing to consider is why would you want to develop such a skill to have an artisanal paper airplane at your disposal from any piece of paper? Well, a couple scenarios could play out in your life. Maybe you just want to have fun and throw some paper airplanes around the classroom with the kids. Or maybe a zombie apocalypse is breaking out and you need to pass a note to another building or a party awaiting you that you were held up by zombies. You never know. I personally just like to throw airplanes at my wife that says, "Love you." Now we're ready for a good test flight. Let's see if we can get a good shot here. So that was fun. That was enlightening and yet another useful skill you may have picked up during your time here at Chabot. I'm very glad I took this class and would like to share a couple things that I learned and will use in further endeavors. I've never really studied much into communication, and I've learned a ton. One thing comes to mind is Monroe's argument. I found it to be a very cool and helpful way to structure my arguments and to play them out in different scenarios. One way I could use that knowledge in life, and I would like to do, is maybe I'll become a speaker and a better teacher, and use some of this knowledge to help me portray more knowledge into the world. Thank you, everybody, and have a great summer.